Family, welcome to today's show, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Checking in at 6 foot, 205 pounds out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Taking your calls today. The score prediction show, just one day out. Get on your feet, get ready, let's go. Bama football on YouTube starts now. Let's go. Hey fam, what's up? Welcome to today's show. I appreciate you guys being here. It is Feel Good Friday. Let me know how you are feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. It better be a 10. It is Feel Good Friday. I hope you are having an amazing day. Thanks for always kicking it with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. As news happens, and of course live every single day at 10 a.m. Central Time, and kicking it with you during the game, during the watch along. So tomorrow, bring your wings, bring your pizza, and let's kick it right here on Bama Football on YouTube together. Man, you know, going into this game, I can't wait. You know, it's a Feel Good Friday, and it's like finally we get to Friday, right? So, you know, a lot to dive into today, and then, you know, during the show, I will take your call. All right. You guys see the new intro? Is it fire? Did you guys like it? All right. Yeah, I'm feeling good. All right. Coffee's nice and hot. I'm feeling good. So let me give some shout outs real quick. Let's see who's on the program, and then we'll kick it, right? Kicking it with Kyle to this morning on Friday, October 10th. Tonette, turn up. What's up? I see you inside the comment box. Thanks for being here. Young C, as always, man, thank you very much, man. Really appreciative of all your continued support. Amanda Jane, what's up? Good morning to you. Alyssa Mitchell, you know I'll be hearing from you today on the 478. We got Mindy Miss Careless coming through, as always. We got Jermaine the King. What's up, man? I appreciate you stopping by and kicking it with us during our live shows, as always. Broderick, what's up, Broderick? I appreciate you kicking it in the house today. North Alabama Storm Chase with the fire graphics. I appreciate you, man. We got the weather report coming up next in just a few minutes. We got the Lag Guy. Just became a live show sponsor, so thank you so much to the Lag Guy for continuing to support Bama Football on YouTube. KTK, what's up, man? I really appreciate you. KTK's been here for a long time, all right? Don't get it twisted. KTK, we know who you are, bro, so thank you so much. We'll get to your comments later on in the program. We got Chris from Montclair, New Jersey. Up in the Northeast, we go the Northeast. We go all the way out to Alaska. We have people calling in from all over the country, and I'm sure we'll hear from Chris today. All right, we got Andy. What's up, man? Good to see you from Denver, Colorado. I love Denver. As you know, I used to, operate a business that focused out of Boulder, Colorado. So Broomwood, you familiar with Broomwood? Anybody? Where are my Broomwood people? Aurora? Anybody know where Aurora is at? Anita, what's up? Good to see you this morning. Thank you so much for kicking it right here this morning on Bama Football on YouTube. Miss Kimberly. What's up, Miss Kimberly? And Robert Bradley Jr. What's up, Robert Bradley Jr.? Anna, good to see you. Happy Friday. Rock Righteous Ministry. Oh, man, I love this, man. Yeah, you saying roll damn tide up inside the comment box. King's Family React coming to us from LaGrange, Georgia. Bro, you don't even have to say King's Family like where you're from, dog. I know where you're at, man. I love that you represent your city, man. Behind enemy lines. You should have seen. I follow King's Family on Instagram. Yo, dads being dads. He posts a picture of his kids. You know what I'm saying? Going to the games. Dad life, bro. Dad life, the real life, right? Bruce Williams coming to us from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I love it, man. Jarvis. What's up, Jarvis? Man, Jarvis is my stats guy. And Sharon, Miss Ann Hunter, checking in. All right. Let's do it. All right. I got everybody checked in. My boy Antoine. Antoine, what's up, dog? In the undefeated hoodie. Oh my God. I need to go put mine on. And Marcus McCann says, what's up, dog? Coming to us from LA. That's Lower Alabama. All right. Here we go. So, you got the weekend weather report, okay? This is courtesy. I love these graphics. They're brought to you in part by North Alabama Storm Chase. Check him out on Facebook. It's got a really good channel for the tailgate. You got 63 in Columbia, Missouri. You got a kickoff temperature of 70 degrees. Remember, the kickoff is at 11 a.m. and you got the fourth quarter for 75. Should be absolutely beautiful for this weekend's game between Alabama and Missouri. I know you're excited about it. I am excited about it too. In this video, I will also include my score prediction. All right, so I'm going to take your calls. And when you guys call in, remember, be concise, get to the point, make a point. If I ask you a question, be Johnny on the spot with it, and we'll have ourselves a good time right here when we start up the call-in show, okay? And you'll see the call-in line screen appear, so don't freak out. Let me get through a couple different slides, and then we'll get popping, right? Here's the so North Alabama Storm Chase. He sent this in to me too. Oh, what's up? This is the full screen. But he sent in a little playoff prediction, and this is basically off the AP. I thought it was a pretty cool graphic. So I counted them up, and we'll start on the left. You got 6 teams from the SEC making the college football playoff. Now, this would be off the AP poll. Everybody hates the AP poll, but everybody talks about the AP poll. And there's no other polls to talk about other than Josh Pate's, power ratings or whatever up until the playoff rankings drop. So here are the AP rankings, and he has it Ohio State. And now this is off AP. So Ohio State at 1, Miami at 2, Oregon at 3, Ole Miss at 4. You got the number 5 team checking in as Texas A&M, and then Oklahoma at 6. I'm jumping to the other side. Number 7, that's Indiana. Number 8, Alabama. They'd be taking on Texas A&M. And remember, seeds 5, 6, 7, and 8. All those teams would host playoff games. Can you imagine if Alabama was to host Texas Tech in the first round? I'd be here for it. That's an extra home playoff game. I kind of like if you were to play in the first round in the college football playoffs. I think you get a lot of momentum and you can sustain it. On the other hand, I guess Alabama's played such a gauntlet that would be after maybe playing for like the SEC championship, or I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that you can look at it. I like to look at the playoff brackets way ahead. That's just me. All right. I also like this graphic. This is the black hoodie graphic. And you got Wisconsin, RIP. You got Georgia, RIP. I love this. This is funny. And you got Vanderbilt, 30-14, RIP, right? I guess it's the scary month, right? And you got Missouri up next with the black hoodie. And as you know, Eli Drinkwitz asked Coach Jaylen Mbakwe if he would be wearing the black hoodie. And he said that the black hoodie has kind of a personality of itself. I like that. Yeah, DeBoer fierce, right, when he puts on the black hoodie. I love this graphic, by the way. Nice graphic, Storm Chase. All right, out for this weekend's game, you have Jaylen Mbakwe, Quay Rusaw, you have Ja Latham, you have Caden Jones, and you have Jeremiah Beeman, and probable is Ryan Williams. Pete Nakos of On3 said that Ryan Williams is trending in a good spot to be able to play on Saturday. We don't know what Ryan Williams, is going through from like an injury. So I saw, maybe people were saying concussion protocol. People were saying hamstring. We have zero idea. Could be anything. Maybe he has, a cold. So unless you hear like injuries from Coach Jaylen Mbakwe, everything else is just kind of, fugazi. We'll talk about it if something runs with it, but I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. So, but he's going to play on Saturday. At least that's what he's trending to. And I wouldn't worry about that if you're freaked out about that sort of stuff. Yeah, Mbakwe, Rusaw, Latham, Jones, and Beeman. A lot of those guys from the defensive side of the ball, and only at Alabama could you reload. And, those guys are like, dang, those are big losses. But at Alabama, we've talked about depth many different times. You're like, okay, next man up. And over here, you can say that because the quality is just so good, right? Patriot Life in with 5 fan fundership. So I appreciate you, Patriot Life. Hey, on the back end of this video, in probably like the 30-minute mark, maybe like 30 or 40, or the 45-minute mark, for like the last 30 or 45 minutes or 15 minutes of the show, we're going to go to a members only inside the chat. Okay, so it'll give you an opportunity to become a fan funder of the show, right? So you don't have to. The show's going to always be free, but if you want to support Bama Football on YouTube and support what I do right here on Bama Football on YouTube, those last 15 minutes will give you an opportunity to do that, okay? So thank you so much. More on that here in just a minute, all right? We also got another super chat in from Anna. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. She loves the intro. I appreciate all the work you put into this amazing show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Big things popping. I would imagine, yeah, that's T.I. Anna's a music head. So thank you so much. Patriot Life in with another fan funderships. He's upping it 100%. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So I started thinking about Jaylen Mbakwe, right? So I'm like, man, because I get these all the time, right? I always get questions out here about Jaylen Mbakwe. And so I put together kind of a list. You're curious about Jaylen Mbakwe inside the comment box, right? Thumbs up if you are. Like, it crosses your mind because Jaylen Mbakwe is an in-state guy. He came in here. Look, if we owe Jaylen Mbakwe anything, he's really the guy who got Ryan Williams to come over here. I'm serious. I think a lot of people forget that. Remember when Jaylen Mbakwe, because Ryan Williams, he decommitted as soon as Coach Saban announced his retirement. Remember, like the day of? And it was Jaylen Mbakwe that went hand in hand and recruited Ryan Williams up until he committed again. Now, Ryan Williams has went to the superstar status, right? He's Hollywood, and Jaylen Mbakwe still hasn't had his opportunity. So I get this question a lot about Jaylen Mbakwe. He's not playing this weekend, okay? And so let's kind of examine it because it is something to think about. I mean, Jaylen Mbakwe is that guy. And if you're out there, you're like, doesn't matter, there's other wide receivers. You don't want a player like this to go anywhere else, okay? He just hasn't had his opportunity just yet, okay? So he's out this weekend, meaning he's not playing. Now, you can look at this a bunch of different ways. What I'm about to say right here is facts, and I have some opinion up in here as well. He's only played in 3 games, right? So people are like, can he still redshirt? Yes, he can still redshirt. He can redshirt. He can play another game and still redshirt. You can play 4 games. Once you play over 5, then you lose your redshirt. He's only played in 3 games so far, and he's not playing against Missouri, right? So, yes, he can still redshirt if he wanted to. We have no idea what his injury status is. I think what gives us anxiety in today's world is like knowing that the players do have a lot of control, and if they don't want to, if they're not being played, they can redshirt and theoretically save a year and maybe hop into the transfer portal. That's just how it is. We have no idea why Mbakwe, is even not playing this weekend. Well, why isn't he playing? Well, because the wide receiver room is absolutely stacked. Remember, this is a guy that changed from corner to wide receiver. We're still trying to figure out if that was a good idea or not. It'll work out if you're patient. If you go back and forth, as you know in life, it usually doesn't work out. So I think he'll find his way within the receivers. He just has to stay patient, okay? And then should he change back to DB? I don't know. I think he can. He's talented enough to where if they had to use him in an emergency situation, I think he could play corner. I think he could play wide receiver. Is he our mini Travis Hunter? I don't know. Comparing anyone to Travis Hunter is crazy, but yeah, he could definitely be a two-way player and, of course, on special teams. Do I think he transfers at the end of the day, point blank? I think anybody could transfer. I mean, the amount of money that is floating around in college football is amazing. These players have gigantic brands. I don't think he'll transfer because he's so connected to Ryan Williams, right? They have their podcast. Those guys are best friends. He's an in-state guy. So, do I think he transfers at the end of the day? I mean, he did enter the transfer portal one time, and Alabama put a stop to that. They want somebody like this in their program, right? So that I would just say at the end of the day, bottom line, just be patient for somebody like Jaylen Mbakwe, right? Ryan Paris in with the super chat. He says, why don't they use the old BCS system and take the 12 teams and cut out all the drama? Well, because they cut out the drama, right? And drama sells. But remember this. So Ryan is asking, and thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate you, man. Remember the BCS? Are you guys old enough to remember the BCS? So the BCS was basically like a computer format, and it just spit out numbers. Like the top 2. It was crazy. Remember? Like the BCS was basically like when your grandma told you what was for dinner, and that was it. With your mom, or, you could be like, oh, I don't want that. I want to go to McDonald's. No. Basically, when grandma said, like, that was it, that was it. BCS was like, these are the top 2 teams based off a mathematic formula, and they're playing in the championship, and deal with it. And everybody would be like, oh, okay. Remember? You couldn't do anything about it. There was no playoff committee. Now the playoff committee, they're just like, it's with some people who haven't even played football, right? And they're making the best assessment of which teams have played who. College football, I'll say this. I love college football. I make a living off college football. But the way that the college football playoffs are decided is the dirtiest, most disgusting, most unfortunate, saddest thing that is happening in all sports. You imagine if the NFL was decided by GMs or by, people kind of on a lower level deciding who should make the playoffs? It's stupid. So ESPN does have like a FPI, which is basically like the BCS, and I think Alabama might even be ranked number 1. So it would probably work out for Alabama, but overall it just doesn't make sense, right? All right, let's turn the page to Missouri. Okay, you know this team. It's scary. They're the 2nd in total defense. That's fact. 4th in total offense. Fact. 7th in scoring. 16th in scoring defense. 1st and 3rd down conversions. 12th in red zone offense. 1st in time of possession. Is this team good? Yes, they are good. Is this team scary? I think any team in the SEC is scary if you overlook any of these type of teams. I think most notably, this is a team that loves time of possession. Time of possession, I think, is Alabama's Achilles heel, as I've explained a lot of different times. And when you guys call in here in a little while, I want to ask you your take about, do you think that this game will be close or not? Because I asked Facebook this morning, and there was some mixed answers. And I'll provide my score prediction here in just a minute. As you know, this video is powered by Sleeper, right? So when you download that Sleeper app, you can make more or less picks. I love it. It's fun to do. It elevates the game. I missed on a parlay last night because Barkley didn't run for 80 yards. Other than that, I would have had a nice little night on Thursday Night Football. So I have a question for you real quick. We'll run through these. We'll start with Ty Simpson. And when you get a $100 deposit, you get up to a $100 match when you use the promo code TAILGATE. Don't miss on that promo code, which is TAILGATE. And if you just download the app right now, you get just $20 to your account, okay? So you can play this weekend's game. And I'm going to tell you how to win a parlay right now. So eyes up, listen up, okay? All right, more or less for Ty Simpson, 285 yards. More or less, 285 yards for Ty Simpson. And Patriot Life in with another fan funder for 5. Man, Patriot Life's been on fire. So your guys' question inside the comment box, more or less 285 for Ty Simpson. My job is to thank Mr. Patriot Life. Thank you, Patriot Life, bro. Good to see you, man. And I mentioned the update on Jenny. You know, Patriot Life plays man coverage, you know, checking in on one of our good friends, Jenny Cackney, who's battling through cancer. I know there's a lot of people that are battling actually cancer in this chat. So Jenny Cagney's battling through. She recently got a good report, and our prayers continue to be with Ms. Jenny Cagney. There's a emoji in there, a pink little ribbon. So anytime you want to, you know, kind of show some support for Jenny or anybody that's battling cancer, just go ahead and post that inside the comment box. I'm seeing a lot of more for Ty Simpson. You know, last game I missed on this. I thought, because I think they set the bar at like 295 or something like that. I didn't think that he would throw for over 300 yards. He threw for 340. I just didn't think the game plan would go that way. I think I'm going to go over this one. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why. Because I think the game plan is to put points on the board against Missouri. You don't want to become like, you have to control the time of possession, but kind of get on top of Missouri, right? As we discussed, Missouri wants to play keep away. I think if Alabama's able to get up early in this game, Missouri will have a very difficult time cutting into that lead. Do you agree with that point? All right, so more for Ty Simpson. That'll be our more list. What about Bo Pribula? More or less for Bo Pribula, 204 yards. It's almost the exact same number that Diego Pavia had. Diego Pavia, I think, threw for 198, so he went under the 200-yard mark. You know, it is hard to throw for over 200 yards against Bama. I'm serious. I'm going to take less right here, and I feel very confident about it. He's a good quarterback, for sure, but he's not elite. He's not, okay? But I think he's good. He can run. He's going to extend plays. He's going to pick up a couple of first downs with his legs, but I don't think he throws for over 200 yards. So I got more and I got less. Okay. And when you looked at Ty Simpson, you kind of dive into the numbers, you see that Ty Simpson's thrown for over 300 yards twice on the season. Once against Wisconsin. Dang, he almost threw for 400 yards in that game? That's crazy. Look at this performance against Wisconsin. Yo, fam, if we zoom out, let's look real quick. This is Ty Simpson's overall right here. This is one hell of a season he's putting together, right? I mean, look at this. 70% over here, 13 touchdowns and 1 interception. Man, look, there's a lot of football left to be played, but this kid's putting up one hell of a season. Jeez. And as you know, when you play Sleeper, you just get $20 if you just download the app. Terms and conditions apply. Available in 25 states. All right, this is Bo Perbula. He threw for 300 yards against Kansas. He threw for 241 a couple weeks ago against Massachusetts. Interesting point, he's thrown an interception in each of his last 3 games. Just something, I'm a stats guy. That stood out to me, right? I would imagine, I'll take that he throws an interception in this game. Okay, this is a tough one right here, okay? I don't think it's tough when we look to this number. This is easy. So let me ask you, same question, more or less over 67 yards for Jam Miller. I think over for sure. He's only played in 2 games, as I'll show you next, right here, right? The average, I think, comes out to 91, right? He ran for 136 last week. He could have ran for more than 70 yards last week before halftime. So more or less 67 yards for Jam Miller. I think that might be our gimme of the week from Sleeper, right? That one's too easy. Way too easy. All right, how about this? Ahmad Hardy. This one is hard. This one's challenging for me. So Sleeper has him at 99 rushing yards, okay? 99. More or less, let's just say 100 yards against Bama for Ahmad Hardy. More or less for Ahmad Hardy right now. So you're like, okay, Bama's one of their weak spots, is chunk yardage plays. There's only been one running back this year to run for over 100 yards. He was from Georgia's running back. This guy's different, okay? Look at this. 100 yards, 112, 250, 138, 130. On the season, 730 yards in 5 games? Yo, that's a lot of production, okay? That's a lot of production. He's averaging 7.1. Okay, so clearly, one of the keys to this game is limiting this guy from moving the chains. Remember last time against, who was it against? Tennessee, right? Dylan Sampson. I think he ran for like 120. This guy's a better back than Dylan Sampson, so that has to be an area of focus, right? And I agree, Jermaine, inside the comment box, he's like, that's against nobody. That is true. That is true. I mean, he ran for 250 against Louisiana. How much would Jam Miller run for against Louisiana? I like that. But this guy can tote the rock. Okay, a couple more to get through. We'll fly through these. Isaiah Horton, more or less 45. You want to say more, but Isaiah Horton will like come up with like 2 catches for like 42 yards or like 3 for 40. It's not like he's not a wide receiver that's going to get like 100 yards, 120. Jerry Bernard and Brian Williams are that guy, right? So I might take the under here, and I'll take the over with Jerry Bernard. Over 62. And when you look to Jerry Bernard, what he's done this season, 25, 392, right? That's a lot of production. And he's went over 62 in 4 out of the 5 games. So I'll take over 62. The only time that he didn't was against Georgia, but they used him in a variety of ways. Chad says that Horton's going to go off. I think he's a guy, like he'll score a touchdown, and I would like them to utilize him more. I just think he's kind of like the 3rd guy, which isn't a knock. He's a playmaker. There's just a lot of mouths to feed, right? Okay, so this guy Coleman right here, 65 yards. I'm going to take over for 65 yards for Coleman, and I'll tell you why. This guy has 39 receptions in 5 games, and he's went over that total, right, 3 times. I get it, the quality of competition, but still, they utilize him a lot. I mean, look how many receptions, 6, 10, 12. Who's going to go, and he's kind of an inside guy, so a slot type guy. All right, take your calls here in just a few minutes. So kind of to wrap it up, I'm taking the over with Ty Simpson, 285. Jeremy Bernard, I'm taking the over with 62. And Bo Pabula, I'm taking the under for 204 yards. So download Sleeper, have fun. Like I like repping Sleeper because I do over-unders. More or less. It's fun. All right. Get your calls in just a minute. A couple more things to run through. You see this? So Joel Klatt, he's, a national college football analyst. Last week, a couple weeks ago, he's hyping up Ty. He has no allegiance or whatever. So he says this: if you just go blind resume on this game between Alabama and Missouri, there is no way that you favor Alabama over Missouri. A lot of people didn't like this take, but like if you did just go off numbers on like Pro Football Focus, and if you went through numbers and you like comparative numbers for the last 3 games, you wouldn't pick Alabama. Remember Georgia? Remember when I made that Pro Football Focus stat sheet? Georgia had every single check mark to Alabama. Every one. Alabama didn't have one, I don't think. And then Vanderbilt, I think they had about 90% too. Same thing with Missouri. Their grades and some of the efficiencies are a little bit better than Alabama, but we have to remember Alabama's played a pretty good schedule. So I guess I could see where he's going with that. He might be looking at it from an analytical standpoint, right? But he's also kind of arguing that the brand itself of Alabama football kind of catapults them as favorites, which I kind of disagree with, because we have seen Alabama be an underdog to like a Georgia for the last, the last 4 times they've played, they've been an underdog against Georgia? All right. Josh Pate says this: the fear that you normally have about Georgia, you actually should have that about Missouri. So, look, I think, Pate clearly knows college football, and he's saying that Missouri is a really good football team, right? And I don't think that's to, like, instill fear into anybody. I think that's just it's kind of a reality check that usually these names like Vanderbilt, Missouri, from the past, and it's going to take us a long time to get out of that, we think that these people aren't good, right? We're like, Vanderbilt, not good. Missouri, not good. Arkansas, whatever, they're not good anymore. But you see what I'm saying? But college football's changed. And every single year, because of the transfer portal or different things that are happening NIL-wise, you can become a really good team really quick and eliminate your entire past just because of the different elements that you bring to your roster. So I think that's what Josh Pate is saying right here. But also, like, I agree, Missouri is a good football program, right? And a good football team right now. Eli Drinker, I think he's a pretty good coach. Okay? All right, but with that said, okay, here's my score prediction, all right? Here's my score prediction. I haven't said it all week, all right? So drum roll, please. Drum roll, all right? Are we scared of Missouri? Are you scared of Missouri? Yes or no inside the comment box. My score prediction. In 3, 2, 1. Yo, Missouri is good, but they haven't played anybody, okay? They haven't played anybody great, okay? All right? They about to meet the Bama buzzsaw. I'm feeling super confident now. I am. I'm telling you, I am. They about to beat the Bama buzzsaw, and Alabama rolls 34-14. 34-14, calling it here. I think that Alabama is able to get up on Missouri, and I think Missouri will have a really difficult time trying to keep up with Alabama. So I want the ball. I want a long, sustaining drive. I want a feed jam, and I want to get into the end zone. I want the defense to come out and make a big play, not in the second half, in the first half, right? Kind of set the tone. Add another touchdown to that. Once you're up by 2 scores against Missouri, I think that they will be out of their game. I think they'll have to put the ball in Bo Pabula's hands, and he's a good quarterback. But I think he's going to struggle, just like all the other quarterbacks have struggled going against Alabama's secondary. So just wait. I'm telling you, the most important thing is for Alabama in this game is to get up early, okay? And if the two teams are even through halftime or whatever, I think Alabama has shown on each side of the ball that they can make adjustments to kind of pull away. There's too many playmakers on this team for this game to be tight, okay? So quarterback play is tremendous. The wide receivers are elite. The running back, he's just showed you what he could do in 2 games against 2 good teams. You figure out the offensive line, you get them to take some steps forward. Kane Womack comes with his lunch pail, right? Ready to go. Make adjustments as you need. Bama rolls 34-14. All right. So I've been pretty on point about the last 2 scores. If you look it up, if you're into that stuff. What is what does the Massey rating say? Tell me again. Does the Massey ratings have this game close? All right, call-in line is open, 205-850-1994. Call in today with your score prediction. All right. Know that there's probably somebody behind you that wants to call in as well. So give me your score prediction, a bold prediction, if you think this game is going to be tight or not, and then we'll move on. Cool? You guys know how it works. All right, so I'm going to say, hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where you calling in from. And then you're going to say, blah, blah, blah. Y'all ready? All right, let's do it. The call-in show starts now. Hey, Chris from New Jersey. What's up, man? Thanks for calling in. Welcome to the show. You like our Pee-wee, I guess, bro, right?
Yeah, by the way, is that your new call-in line voice, Kyle? That was pretty good. Pretty good.
I guess. I added a new intro. The show is always evolving. I think if the show ever gets to a point where it's like stagnant, that won't be good. I'm always trying to advance.
That's why we love it, Kyle.
Right. And there's do I face curveballs? Hell yeah. This is the pros, bro. So there's curveballs that come. You take wins, you take losses, but we're trying to win the pennant. Anyways, on with Chris from New Jersey, and thanks for calling in, man.
Oh, so Kyle, I woke up this morning in New Jersey, 40 degrees. Oh boy, I got to move. I got to move to your neighborhood in Tuscaloosa, my friend.
Man, it kind of sounded like the intro of Sopranos, Woke up this morning.
By the way, I know almost every one of those pictures. By the way, they filmed that. So if everybody looks in Montclair, New Jersey, they filmed like a whole bunch of episodes. Remember where when Tony Soprano goes out and buys the newspaper, and then the guys are trying to shoot him. He's drinking like orange juice, and that is like 5 minutes from where I live right now. Midland Avenue. There's a restaurant I love. It's right near there. Anyway, so funny. But anyway, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I will before I talk football. So I think we need to have a undefeated punk list. And who's on the punk list so far? Pavia, punk. Joel Klatt, punk, and what was the guy's name that used to be from Georgia? He's not even on the air anymore. He was on ESPN. He tried giving Saban a hard time. He's off of ESPN now. What was that guy's name? Pollock or something?
Oh yeah, David Pollock, yeah.
David Pollock. Okay, so that's our punk list. So all right. So so all right. My prediction earlier was Max, I'm not in the mafia. I wish I was, and I'd be rich. So my prediction is 27-14. They haven't played anybody. I think they're going to try to grind this thing out though, and cut the game down, and we might do the same. But I think our offensive line is going to shine. They're going to have their best game. I think playing early, which usually hurt us, is going to help us. I think that our secondary is potentially the best in the country. They're going to have a problem. So if we focus on stopping the run, they're probably going to get a couple chunk runs. That's why I'm like 14. But I think we come out with a win, and I'm pumped. So 27-14. It's tight. Listen, Vegas stayed at 3 all week, Kyle.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if anything, we got to respect that a little bit. I mean, I do. But I'm pumped. I can't wait. What are you going to be on? 15 minutes before the game for the party?
Yeah. Watch along will be 15 minutes before. We'll get things going. Maybe I'll make an omelet while we're waiting for the game to start. So, tomorrow watch along. But, yeah,
nice.
Good call, Chris. I appreciate you calling in from Montclair.
All right, my brother. TGIF and Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you, man. All right, take it easy. That is Chris calling in from New Jersey, 417. Let's do it. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. It's Timmy. I'm calling in from Arizona.
Timmy, what's up, man? Thanks for calling in from Arizona. Timmy's on the road, right? So I think the last time you called, you were out west. Before that, you were in Nebraska. So he's delivering the products that you need instantly. Timmy, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I appreciate it.
No problem. I started looking at Ahmad Hardy and how he ran against South Carolina, and I ain't gonna lie, that boy is a bowling ball. I think he was from UL Monroe, whatever, and thank goodness he didn't have to play Alabama last year because that would have sucked for him. But I'm kind of nervous about this game because if he's averaging 5.7 plus yards per carry, I think Missouri wins this game 34-31 or maybe 27-24. But if we can get him in that 4 range, that 3 range, I got Alabama winning 37-21. But there's something that's telling me to pick Missouri in this game, and I'm a diehard Alabama fan because Missouri hasn't played nobody, but we struggle with the run game, and Cedric Alexander from Vandy isn't even that good of a running back, and he busted one early in the first quarter, and after that I think he had 2 yards for the rest of the game. If we can do that against Ahmad Hardy, that would be a statement that is across college football, because the best running back in college football got held to 100 yards or less. I think he's going to go for 150. I do have Alabama winning, but something's telling me to pick Missouri in this game, and I know it hurts. I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. I got Missouri winning 31-28.
All right, 31-28 with the upside. Okay, man, I appreciate it, man. Be safe on the road, Timmy. Thanks for calling in, bro.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm not surprised to hear a couple people pick Missouri in this matchup. Like I said, I just felt like at the end of the day, for me, why my score prediction was probably a little bit, more spaced out than I think some of the national analysts or whatever, isn't because of some crazy fandom. I just think at the end of the day, I've seen this team play. I have a microscope on this team, and I know that the momentum that they have with the weapons that they have, but it comes down to the play of Ty Simpson, man. This guy is performing at such an elite level, and the wide receivers are, man, I'm telling you, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there's probably another group out there, maybe Ohio State's wide receivers, but the receivers over here are at the elite status, right? You catch a couple more passes and you eliminate a couple drops. I mean, this team is nasty. So having to deal with that is going to be a challenge for anybody in college football, and I think Missouri's kind of up next. 737, let's do it. Mike, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in.
Hey, good morning, Kyle. It's Friday. Tomorrow's a big day. Hey, man, I feel good about Alabama winning this game, Kyle, and I'll tell you why. We found our identity. We know what our team identity is. We have good offensive rhythm. We have last I checked, according to CBS, Ty Simpson was leading Heisman Trophy candidate, according to CBS, Heisman Trophy. So that, and our running game is getting better. With Jam Miller's back, he's back in action. He's getting his rhythm, is getting better. And our defense is slightly underrated. They're very, they are stingy. They are swarming a bit, and they're very opportunistic. Taking advantage of every, making fumbles happen and jumping on the ball. So, and we're at a good place right now. Man, we're clicking as a team, and we still feel the sting of the first game. We still feel that sting. So, with that being said, we're a better team than Missouri. We're motivated to do it. I think we're going to go in there, and we have them mismatched big time, our passing game versus their defensive passing. So I feel good about winning, Kyle.
Yeah. Is there any other games, Mike, that out there in college football where we might have, an upset watch or something like that? Maybe give us a quick preview on Texas taking on Oklahoma. I know you're out in Austin. What's the water cooler talk? Who are you taking between Texas and Oklahoma this weekend?
I think Oklahoma's going to beat them just because Texas is really just not that good of a team. And everything, all the positives I said about our team, well, it's just the opposite for Texas. I mean, their offense is struggling. Their quarterback can't find his rhythm. Their defense was supposed to be the strong part of their team. They're just a decent defense. They're not an overpowering defense. I think Oklahoma is going to straight up going to beat them. And but one thing about the Texas-Oklahoma game, though, from this point, it's a must-win game for Texas. Texas has lost 4 of their past 9 games. So they're about 500, in their past 10 games. And the only 3 games they won were against kind of high school teams, so with the Sam Houston and UTEP or whatever they're playing. So, but for my opinion, Texas is a must-win game. If they lose this one, there's too many tough games in front of them. From this point, they're still in it, but I'm expecting but I think Oklahoma is just a better team, and it's a revenge game. Texas beat them last year. So I think Oklahoma's going to win, probably by about 7 points. But I think in the Missouri game, our game, Kyle, the biggest mismatch, yes, Ty is going to go for over 300 yards. I do think so. The biggest mismatch is our big play offense, our Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback versus their susceptible defensive backfield.
Yep.
So with that, and I like having an 11 o'clock start. We don't have to overthink it. Just stay the routine, go in, sling the ball, and get the heck out of there. That's kind of so I do like the start. But we just got better players. We're hungry. We're still focused. We have an identity. The defense is underrated, and the running game is getting better. So, Kyle, we're going to beat them by about pretty close to your score, probably about 35-21. As I say, is going to be our victory score, 35-21.
All right. Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate you. Thanks.
All right. Okay, bye.
All right, that was Mike. We got 478. We got 865. Hey, heads up, fam. Inside the comment box, probably around 10:50, and I'm gonna extend the show today because we're getting a lot of callers calling in, and so we'll be here for a little bit of time. So get comfortable. But probably at 10:50, I'm gonna turn the chat into fan funders that are supporting the show for the chat, so it'll give you an opportunity to hit the join button. There's many different tiers that fits everybody's budget. So if you want to support the show, and it's on a monthly basis, it's very easy to cancel or to renew or to kind of level up. And to be straightforward, it supports the show, like me and the show. So probably about 10:50, you'll see the chat turn into fan funders, and then you'll be able to decide. And of course, it'll always be free. You know what I'm saying? But as I always explain to you, like, free to watch, not free to produce. Like, I currently pay for the call-in line and everything else. This is how I make my living. So I appreciate you guys, in your consideration to become a fan funder of the program. And like I said, very easy to cancel. And it's a month-by-month tier. So probably at 10:50, you'll see a change inside the comment box. So thank you so much. And that's just a heads up and a courtesy to you, so when you see it inside the comment box. But for example, like Pat McAfee, if you try to get in his chat, you have to be a fan funder. Like, this is kind of a new wave of content creation. So thank you so much for your consideration again. All right, with that said, we go to 478. Hey, thank you very much for calling. Is this Alyssa?
This is she.
Hey, all right. So let's do it properly because I like when we do the whole setup. So, hey, welcome to the show. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Alyssa Mitchell from Macon, Georgia.
All right, Alyssa, take it away. I appreciate you being here.
Okay, so I was very pleased with our win against Vanderbilt last weekend, and I hope that certain individuals now realize, greatness is manifested in silence. I'm proud that our guys seem to be humble and they also deliver. But before I give you my score prediction for the game against Missouri, I do have a question for you because I think this question is going to have an impact on the game. Kane Womack, in my opinion, is going to have to start making in-game adjustments. I don't think we can continue to just rely on the offense to keep us in like the first half, and then you wait until the second half to make adjustments on defense. And this is going to be especially important, I feel like, in SEC play. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to see an involve in Kane Womack's defense as we go forward. And I think we have to also realize the type of offensive minds that we're going against, right? Like throughout the season, like it's no longer Alabama's going to be just, heads and shoulders dominant against other teams. The teams are going to be more equalized. And I think that's when it comes down to X's and O's. And sometimes in football, and a lot of times, like if you watch the NFL, a lot of the adjustments are made in the second half. And you never see the coaches panic. And you see, just like I said, I think yesterday, I was crediting Georgia for making really good adjustments on offense and on defense. And once you start to see Kane Womack do that in the second half, as we've seen as of late, that's a sign of a really good football team. I am with you, though. You got to have something ready to go in the first half. You just can't wait till you get punched in the face a couple different times to start fighting. So that is something that we're watching. The chunk yardage plays for me, honestly, Alyssa, they piss me off because that's been happening from last season, right? Like there's still some things that bother me. Like Florida State did whatever they wanted. Georgia had chunk yardage plays. Vanderbilt had chunk yardage plays. The shovel pass, like you knew that was coming, that happened. So those type of things need to stop, but I am cautiously optimistic with the last 2 weeks that we've seen. Plus, I think we have to, give credit to the players for coming up with big plays. Like Kane Womack can draw out the defensive schematics, but Keon Sabb's got to make that interception, right? You can draw it up 4th and 1, but LT Overton's got to use his, amazing athleticism and come up with that stop against Georgia. Those are going to be foundational plays that we live on through the rest of the season that show, why Alabama is going to eventually have a playoff shot. So, it starts Saturday. This is a very, very good running back, the best running back that they've faced. They have to be up for the task, but you bring up some good points in terms of in-game adjustments. Can't just wait till like you've been punched in the mouth. Anyways, Alyssa, take it away.
Okay, so for this weekend, I feel like the Cards and all of the fan bases outside of Alabama are stacked up against us this weekend. Like we've been saying, Missouri is a great team. They're undefeated. They're coming off a bye, and they've got home field advantage. But the haters will be tuned into this game, hoping Alabama slips up and takes a loss. And Kyle, as you stated many times, Alabama is the most watched college football team in the country. And as Russell Crowe says in the Gladiator movie, are you not entertained? Well, I've got news for non-Alabama fans. You're going to be disappointed again this weekend because Alabama is handing Missouri their first loss at Bama 27, Missouri 21.
Love
Roll
it.
Tide.
Good call, Alyssa. I appreciate you always calling in. That's Alyssa calling in from Georgia. I appreciate the call, Alyssa. All right, we'll move to our next call. We get an 850 and a 251. Love the call, and she's absolutely right. It's like, are you not entertained? And it's kind of like goes back to like what Ty Simpson is doing. Like he's operating at such a high level, and we're like, well, what else are you gonna do? What else? 13 touchdowns and 1 interception in beating Georgia on the road, beating Diego Pavia head to head. Like, are you not entertained? Okay, well, here's Bo Pribula. Here's Joey Aguilar. Here's Garrett Nussmeier. Here's John Mateer. Here's Jackson Arnold. Fine, okay? Just sit back and enjoy the show. Love the call. 850, you're up. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Cody from Crestview, Florida.
Cody, what's up, man? Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you, man. Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
No problem. I have Alabama 30 and Missouri 14. I love your prediction between 34 and 14. I think that's where it's going to be at with Alabama. No knock. Missouri does have a good running back, but I think we can have a mismatch. Kane Womack needs to do with the ball just to adjust and everything for defense. I think he can, but I'm not sold yet with him. I do have a problem with this. You mentioned the Texas and Oklahoma game. I got Oklahoma beating Texas, but the problem is John Mateer is profitable, and I don't think so because he's technically ruining his career because he can't throw the ball very well after surgery.
Mm.
They say he's doing very well after surgery. I said, no, if you're breaking your bone in your finger, you don't have no grip, so he won't throw the ball. It's very, very loose. So he should be saving his well-being till November. He has a better chance in November than playing at Texas at that Red River rivalry game. He should let the backup quarterback do that job and say, you know what, I'm going to wait till November, because if you don't, you won't be healthy for Alabama. You'll be out for a couple of months, and you probably won't even make the playoffs. So I put that there, and forgot about this. Ezel that was coached from Nick Saban, he's at Wake Forest as offensive coordinator.
Yeah. He did the impersonation. I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody, I remember last week you called in, and you called in twice because we have the call-in show on Wednesday and on Friday.
Yeah.
And the first time,
Yeah.
you were thinking Vanderbilt, right? And then you changed to Alabama on Friday. So your final score prediction was Bama, but aren't you glad that you changed to pick the Tide?
Well, I've always been an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. I just like to – everybody else likes to just shut Pavia up, even including a Volunteers fan. And I see people all the time that say, I'm glad y'all shut out Vandy up. I said, yeah, they suck. I want Missouri to beat Vandy, because guess what? I don't want Vandy in the playoffs. I don't. It doesn't fit right. Diego Pavia, all he does is he acts like he's 6 years old and entitled. I said, he's a nothing quarterback. I like Bo Papula because he instantly reads his plays. He's what Drew Adler should have been. And to be honest, that's where I put up with Bo Papula. Good quarterback, but he's far better at Missouri than he was at Penn State. Just for I got Alabama winning this game. I'm an avid Alabama fan because of my days. So here I am being an Alabama fan, watching all the games.
All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in, Cody, and I really appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, man. Good call. All right. Yeah, Cody last week called in, and at first he picked Vanderbilt on a Wednesday. And I get it. Like, there's a lot of anxiety with these games, right? So I think, you're kind of going back and forth on your picks and stuff, but he came back on Friday, and he rolled Tide. 251, let's get it. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on line with, and where are you calling in from?
Jeremy Stewart from Mobile, Alabama. Yeehaw.
Jeremy, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Nothing much. I actually watch you on YouTube a lot, actually, but I do have a question for you, okay? One of my questions is, do you think for the Alabama-Florida State game, since Gus Malzahn was on the coaching staff for Florida State, that Florida State basically knew what Ty Simpson was going to do, and basically it gave Florida State a better advantage of Florida State winning against Alabama?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I look back on that week one matchup is that Gus Malzahn, after that game, after they beat Alabama, right, he admitted that every single day during the summertime that he thought about ways to beat Alabama schematically, and he went over it day by day. So the first game of the season in college football, like, it's great to have these big matchups, but you just don't know a lot about anybody. And kind of in hindsight, as bad as that loss was on a national scene, and Gus Malzahn and even Coach Saban admitted, when Malzahn has a running quarterback, good luck. But they did such a great job, against Alabama, and we've seen Alabama grow since that point. But I think sometimes the blessing is, think about how much better that team has got since that point in time. Do I think Gus Malzahn, had a great game plan, to combat Alabama's defense and out-chest Kane Womack? Yeah, 100%. But it's been amazing to see how Coach DeBoer has turned that negative into positive after positive after positive. And, sometimes there's all these weird, tinfoil analogies is like, well, they lost that game on purpose so they could get better for the season. I don't think that's true. I think they just got punched and they responded. And now that they've gone through that sense of loss, that sticks in your mouth. Like I think it was Mike who said that. Like that's a bad taste in your mouth. They saw the national media, talking about them, calling for Coach DeBoer's job, and you've seen how they've turned since that point in time. Anything else that you have?
Yeah. One more thing. I have Alabama beaten, and I like to call Missouri misery because they give you a misery in the end. They give you a misery because you're gonna lose in the misery.
Hey, I love, yeah.
And also I will also say I will comment on Jermaine Funnyman because, as he has said before, he wants every single time to run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Give it to Jam Miller and run it up the middle.
Not mad about it.
Don't run it on the right side. Don't run it up on the left side. Run it in the middle.
All right, good call, man. I appreciate the call from Mobile, man. Call again next time and roll tide to you. All right, 601 and then an 828 coming up next right here on Bama Football on YouTube. 601, I think we got Javion coming in from Pensacola. Hey, Javion, what's up, man?
How's it going, Kyle?
Good to see you, bro. I appreciate you calling in, man. Welcome to the show. Come with it.
I want to give props and props due. I want to give props to Tank Womack and the defense. They have been getting better throughout the year. I feel like the defense is starting to get better quicker than they did last year. Last year towards the back end, it started to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And this is mid-season, almost in a way, and I feel like they're getting better. They're able to adjust. I feel like this game is going to be up to the defense, in my opinion. Because I have complete confidence in offense, complete confidence.
Yeah.
And I feel like if the defense can adjust early, can get a stop early, like we need the same amount of stops we did against Vanderbilt. Like, I ain't saying they're not going to score at all, but we need at least 2 or 3 stops. At least 2 or 3 stops to get ahead. Because if we can stay ahead of the chains, if we can stay ahead of time position, we got a good chance of quieting the crowd down